I want to extend a welcome to all of our guests and all of our special guests here today for this very special meeting of the Pine Bluff and West Pine Bluff Rotary in honor of Dr. Martin Luther King. And at this point, I'm going to turn the meeting over to Reverend Jesse Turner.
Good afternoon. We are extremely glad to be here today as we come together as Rotarians to remember the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. This is National Mentoring Month, January is, and we will be calling on both Rotary clubs to help us in mentoring. We have a new program that's going to be rolled out here in Pine Bluff in the very near future called Pen or Pencil. It is a very unique program that mentors young people that's falling through the cracks, that need some academic enhancement as well as character building. So we want to be calling on the Rotary Club to be a partner with us. This is the 28th year for the ICVR King Fest celebration, and we are certainly happy about that. Plus, this is the 45th year of ICVR as an organization. So that's something that we have done in the past in terms of community service. ICVR has, for years, been an active role player in Pine Bluff. Today I'm going to introduce to you Dr. Carolyn Blakely. Well, present to you Dr. Carolyn Blakely. She's going to introduce our speaker. But Dr. Blakely is a retired educator of the Carolyn F. Blakely Honors College. Not only that, she's also a member of the Arkansas Martin Luther King Jr. Commission. So with that being said, we're going to bring her to the podium now to introduce our speaker for this afternoon.
Thank you, Reverend Turner, and ladies and gentlemen, I assure you that it is an extreme pleasure for me to be able to present today's speaker because we've known each other for a long time. I'll let him, if he chooses, tell you the details of that. It goes back, as a matter of fact, to high school. I in Magnolia and he right here in Pine Bluff, but we knew each other. And I have never had the opportunity to introduce him before, so this is a special privilege and a real honor. And actually, I don't really have to introduce him because you know him. You know him by his accomplishments and by his involvement right here in our own community, in our own state, and in the nation at large. As you well know, he is a native of Pine Bluff, and he grew up on the campus of what was then Arkansas A&M College, where his father served as both president and the first chancellor for more than 30 years. So you see, he's no stranger to us, and his record does speak very, very loudly, positively loudly for itself. Majoring in mathematics, he received his undergraduate education at A&M College with a bachelor's degree and his master's degree in mathematics from the University of Arkansas at Fayetteville. He then went on to earn his PhD in engineering mechanics at Iowa State University and engaged in further studies in physics. This I'll tell you something about his mind. Physics, mathematics, computer science, and administration at Brown University, at Oak Ridge United Universities, at the University of Oklahoma, and finally at Harvard University. His professional experience ranges from being a classroom teacher to serving as chair of a department, to being dean of a unit or division, and currently to serving as a chancellor at the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff for some 20 years now. Although we know, and I'm sure you know too, because you probably know some things that I don't even know, we know that his list of accomplishments and awards and recognitions is very, very extensive. But I do want you to know that he received the Distinguished Alumni Award from all of his alma maters: the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff, the University of Arkansas at Fayetteville, and Iowa State University. So ladies and gentlemen, that in itself is a strong indication of the respect with which he is regarded. In terms of service, he currently serves as a member of the Southern Regional Education Board and as a past member of the Jefferson Regional Medical Center, the Jefferson County Industrial Foundation, and the Federal Reserve Little Rock branch. I am personally aware that he is extremely proud of his family. He and his wife, Ethel Davis, who is a retired mathematics teacher from the Pine Bluff School District, are the parents of 3 children and 9 grandchildren. So please join me in extending a very warm welcome to Dr. Lawrence A. Davis, Jr., Chancellor at the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff. Dr. Davis.
Thank you very much. Thank you so very much. As Dr. Blakely said, we go back a very long way. At that time, 100 pounds ago, I was an athlete, played basketball, and we were on our holiday tour through Stevens, Texarkana, and Magnolia. And I had the privilege in those days of George Pittman and I stayed in her home that night, which was right across from the high school. So you could tell by her introduction that we're very good friends, and she has made a tremendous contribution to our university. And although we have some other people working, we didn't replace them, we couldn't. So that's what I think. And Reverend Turner, I congratulate you on your hard work and what you're doing in this community, and I recognize all of you, and to the Rotarians. But as he said, this is observance of Martin Luther King. Now, I may be the only one here who ever met him because he spoke for our commencement, and I'm not going to dwell on that because what he was working toward is what I really want to address today, and in doing so, I think you will understand the role that he played. I appreciate this opportunity to speak, and I'm honored that after all of these years that people still think I have something to say. But anyway, I reflected many weeks over what I would say on this occasion. Now, I have a lot to say, but I'm not going to say it all because I have to reduce it to the time that I've been allocated, and I didn't want to tax your patience. I think I've been successful. So I'm going to be saying more than the words say. You have to fill in the blanks. Now, I'm going to be using metaphors to make the point, and also I'm going to try to be politically correct. But one of the reasons that this United States that we live in, and we're blessed to live here, is the strongest nation in the world is because of our productive farming industry. We are able to feed ourselves. Our agrarian entrepreneurs grow corn, potatoes, rice, nuts, fish, chicken, cattle, vegetables, fruit, wheat, and other foods to satisfy our nutritional needs. An undeniable fact, however, is that the sower of seeds reaps the crop that is sown. You reap what you sow. None plant cotton and expect to reap potatoes. Therefore, to determine what is planted, just look at the crop. You want to know what was planted? Look at what came up. Now, it's a great source of wisdom, good pastor. It is my favorite verse. This is in Galatians 6:7. And it's related to what I want to talk about. That's written unquoted. I'm not going to give you all of it because there's a little bit I want to save for the end. But it says this. It's Galatians 6:7. Be not deceived. God is not mocked. Whatsoever man soweth, that he shall also reap. And, of course, I'm going to mention the last of it later. Now, let us consider the harvest that we are currently reaping. On the international scene, the worldwide scene,
Sunday paper said the blast in Afghanistan killed 6. Town hall attack kills 20 in Nigeria. 23 died in Damascus suicide blast. Iran is developing a nuclear weapon. Protests in Indonesia. European economy is bankrupt. We have chaos over our entire world. We are reaping what someone sowed. Now, nationally, Occupy Wall Street, record number of housing foreclosures, stalemate in Congress, national deficit out of control, unemployment at an all-time high. Educational system of our country has now fallen into the lower ranks. Immigration is a problem. Drug traffic is a problem. In the state, our education system is broken too. What do you think about the fact that in 2010, 24,000 of our high school graduates from our schools took the ACT test, and 42% had to have remediation. 8,000 of those students were Caucasian or others. 4,000 of the students who were African American that took it, 96% had to have at least one remedial course. 96%. That meant only 400 came out clear. So you can't say that the education system is working. And then here in Pine Bluff, what are we talking about? Let's take our city back. Let's take our city back. Now, one of the things that we have to understand, we cannot do anything about the seeds already planted. Now, much about the crops we are now reaping. Now, could it be that our failure to educate all of the people at a time, and those of you that, none of you are old as I am, but there was a time when you understood that you weren't trying to educate all of the people. Could it be that this has brought us this high utilization of welfare? Has it brought us this unprecedented crime rate? Has it brought us this high level of employment? You understand, there are plenty of jobs, plenty of positions. But the people who need the position don't have the skill set that we need. There's a man I meet up at Easy Mark where I go and get my paper in the morning, Reverend, and he's like, I need a job. I said, what can you do? He said, I can do anything. I said, you know what? Everybody on our university campus has to do something. There's no job for anything. I said, we need an accountant. Can you do that? He said, no, sir. But we have positions. The populations in our prisons are exploding. Here we are, we're in the middle of the industry. Cummins, Bonner, Williams Prison, and Tucker. More of those people down there than we have in all of the colleges in Arkansas, African American. In Pine Bluff, we have 4 contiguous school districts. Did you look in the paper the other day and see where we rank? In the lower echelons. Main Street. Now see, I grew up in Pine Bluff. I love Pine Bluff. When I was in Iowa, man stopped me on the street, saw my Arkansas license plate. You from Arkansas? I said, yes, sir. Where are you? I said, I'm at Brown, going to school. Are you going back? I said, yes, sir. Why? And when I went to Iowa, they tried to recruit me back there. But I love Pine Bluff. Pine Bluff is a great city with great potential. We just haven't taken advantage of it yet. But you know, I drive down Main Street, it hurts my heart. Because see, I grew up when Pine Bluff was a vibrant city. See, I remember Frugs and Bears and Bames and B&J Jewelry and Cons and Rosy Swag and so on. What happened? I remember when my dad used to take us on Sunday, one of the enjoyable rides was to go down Cherry Street, Reverend, and look at the pretty homes and whoosh. Beautiful street. Christmas time, it was just like what we do in the park now. You just looking and wishing, aspiring. And then our neighborhoods. I drive around all the time, Reverend Turner, and it hurts my heart to see these abandoned houses and the grass utopias that surround them. I wonder, what seeds did we plant to get to that? Now, without an accusing finger at anyone specifically, I wonder who planted these seeds that resulted in such a crop of weeds. Now, locally, regardless of what everybody said, it could not have been the current mayor and the city officials. It could not have been the county officials. It could not have been the current school superintendents. It could not have been the president of the United States, not the Congress. It could not be the governor or the legislature, because the weeds, Senator Flowers, had germinated and were already sprouting when they got elected. See, Pine Bluff didn't just get here today. This has been coming. You know, you plant a seed, you don't see the fruit the next day. It's down the road a few weeks, or days, or months, or years. Now, could it be that the social practices of the past were bad seeds? Could it be that the inequalities in educational opportunities were bad seeds? Could it be the advice of John Lynch? Anybody ever heard of John Lynch? Go to your computer, the good editor has, and punch in the word John Lynch. And look at the advice that he gave in 1712. And he said, if you follow this advice, it will last 300 years, and this is the 300th year. There was a seed that was planted, and we are reaping the benefits of what was planted in 1712. Could it be that our failure to accentuate the positive of our city has been a bad seed? Let's just think about it. Now, you know, I'm so happy to see that we have the gentleman, Weena, is that the name, that's here now, that's going to do something about the pines. Because see, one of the things about it, you can always talk about what's wrong, but somebody has to do something. The pines doesn't have to be what it is. We can make it what we want it to be. But you got Lake Saracen out there, people. Can't you see Lake Saracen with people paddleboating, fishing, cafeteria on the lake, nice homes around the lake like in Lake Village? We got that. We have a plethora of museums in Pine Bluff. Train station, the Railroad Museum, the Rock and Roll Museum, the one that's down in the Convention Center, the Band Museum, the great museum that's unparalleled on our campus, and on and on. You have a unique situation here in Pine Bluff. No one else in the state of Arkansas has a 2-year college and a 4-year college in the same town. Could it be that we're not taking advantage of that seed? Got an airport out here with potential. We just need to do something with it. And I drive around and I look at these great buildings. And do you realize that the Pines Hotel, if you went to other cities, you'd be visited as a point of tourism. The Hotel Pines and the Singer Theater, even though I never got to sit anywhere but in the back of it, I still think we need to save it. And then did we take advantage of the seeds that we planted at the university where we brought all these great Americans into the city? You wouldn't remember, but I do. Jackie Robinson was here. Muhammad Ali was here. Benjamin Mays was here. And Martin Luther King was here. And you know, it's really amazing me, Reverend Turner, that, you know, now we name the streets after him and parks after him. But when he came, most didn't want him here. Our school got penalized in the legislature because Martin Luther King was our commencement speaker. And of course, he was not as famous then as he later became. And we were among those that heard the first speech, I Have a Dream. If you don't believe it, look at those old articles from the Pine Bluff Commercial and the Gazette. They have it in there. And he stayed at my daddy's house because he had no choice. And he ate at my daddy's table because he had no choice. And when he left, they cut our appropriation $100,000. Could that have been a seed that was planted? We had First Lady, Michelle Obama here. Did we really take advantage of that seed? The commercial did. For the first time in their history, they had an extra for the first time. Could it be that our daily headlines on the crime is a bad seed? You know, Dr. Shirley, when he was here and we worked very hard to get a call center here. And we thought we had them. And then they told us we weren't coming. I said, well, why? They said, we got other contracts. We didn't believe it. We pursued it. And finally what they said was two things. You don't have a workforce. Students at UABB, students at CR, people in surrounding neighborhoods, and we don't have a workforce. They say, if you have a game on Thursday night, they won't come to work on Friday. And we told them that. And then the other thing they said, we read your newspaper. Well, we have crime in Pine Bluff, no doubt about it. I told you last time I spoke for you that when unemployment goes down, crime rate goes up. Somebody told me out there, I don't agree with that. They didn't have an increase in crime rate during the Depression. I said, how would they have known? They didn't have a radio, didn't have a television, newspaper was sporadic, and then nobody had anything to steal anyway. Now, I'm coming to the end. The point is that we first need to learn from the past and not repeat it. See, I give people a lot of history, because it's not history, it was current events for me. See, I used to wait tables right in this room. The people I waited tables on didn't even know who I was. They don't recognize me today. They don't remember I used to wait tables on, you understand? But that's okay. When they invited me to be a member, I forgot about all that table waiting, you understand? Now, now what we need, the point is, we need to learn from the past, not repeat it. We need to make a commitment to a better harvest for our descendants. Because if you don't, somebody's going to be standing here, like I am, talking about the bad seeds that we planted. And see, one thing great about our nation is this. Once we make a commitment to do something, we can do it. I never shall forget when John Kennedy stood there, we going to the moon. Can you imagine going to the moon? We hadn't even gotten into orbit yet. But guess what? We went to the moon, and what's more important, we came back. Because what? They made a commitment to do it. We first have to have a commitment to make it different. Now, the thing is, we have a whole lot of people can point out all the problems. But you know what? You know how many people with a solution. And sometimes they criticize me because I get involved with certain things. They say, that's not the Chancellor's word. Well, yes, it is. You know how I know that? Because when they had a shooting at Virginia Tech, they said, let's fire the president. When they had the hazing in Florida at Hill, they said, let's fire the president. When the officers went out there and sprayed the people that were occupied, they said, let's fire the president. So if I'm gonna get fired, I need to be fired doing what I want to do. All right. But there are solutions. The first one, as I said, we need to make a commitment. The other thing that we're gonna have to do, and I taught a long time. I taught 5 years volunteer at Pine Bluff High School, taught advanced placement calculus 5 years, only had 2 students who didn't make the cutoff score to get college credit. They went off, and 5 of them now PhDs, and one of them, who was a local businessman, said, you know, when I was in your class, I didn't even try, but when I went to the school where I went, said, and they told me I had to take calculus, and I looked at the textbook and said, I already had that. They said, you want to test out? He said, yes. So he studied 2 weeks and passed the midterm with A, studied 2 more weeks, passed the final with A, because we didn't shortchange him. We can do whatever it is that we was to do. Now, I said intervene. You have kids growing up, and they don't have parents. Do you understand that? Do you see all these young girls walking around here looking like they gained a lot of weight in the middle? And they're not but 15, 16 years old themselves? What can they teach their kids? We need to intervene at an early age and see that those kids get the proper orientation, that they understand that the reward comes with productivity, that nobody owes you anything. Students tell me, y'all took all money, I didn't get all my refund. You don't have any money. I'm paying taxes so you can go to school. That's my money, your money. We need to be sure that we eradicate illiteracy. They say, we're going to reduce it by 25% each year. If you reduce illiteracy by 25% each year, you will continue to have 25% illiteracy. There's no excuse. We have 450 black churches alone in Pine Bluff. They should be helping us teach these kids how to read, because you know, once you can read, you can educate yourself almost. Now, what I have not been able to figure out though, I see all these people driving cars. How do they pass the test, the written test? And then they're illiterate. It's something that's not, that I don't understand. That's all I'm gonna say. But even our students that have to take remedial reading, somehow they get a driver's license. How do you do that? I don't know. We need to stay up pride in our community. You have a lot to be proud of. They got crime in Little Rock. Don't believe it, go over there and see. At least we haven't had any bank robbers yet. We must develop some skills training programs. If you want to be a plumber in Pine Bluff, what do? You want to be an electrician, what do? Because you know what? One of the reasons we're struggling at the university right now, we don't have a licensed electrician. We have to call people in on contract. We don't have a licensed plumber. We have to call people on contract. When if we could, and we had our own, like we used to, wouldn't be necessary. Now, the other thing is, and this is kind of fun, I'm almost through, we have got to assume responsibility for all of the people, because they aren't going nowhere. I told you. You can support them in welfare, the criminal justice system, the prison, or in meaningful work. But all of them are our children. When I look at those kids on the university, they're all my children. They're all my students. I don't want them to have any condition that I don't want my kids to have. If it's not good enough for my kids, it's not good enough for anybody else's. Do you understand what I'm saying? We must remember the past, but we don't need to let it handicap us any longer. We're going to have to work together. Now, should we do this, if we work together, then we will plant seeds that will yield a good harvest for our descendants. And the rest of that little quotation I gave when I started, be not deceived, here's what it said: let us not be weary in well-doing, for in season we shall reap if what? We faint not. Let us plant good seeds for the future, people. Let us do that. Thank you very much.
I want to thank Dr. Davis for such an insightful presentation. He's a good seed. and we can see that. I want to just give you a few things regarding the rest of the week. On tomorrow, there will be a nonviolent pledge day, pen or pencil writing a new history. This will be going on with the King team at different schools. On Thursday, there's a birthday bash at the First Ward Alternative School, where we will be working with those kids. First Ward is one of our projects with pen or pencil writing a new history. We'll be mentoring students over there, and we'll continue to ask for those of you who would like to join with us. So we'll have a birthday bash over there on Thursday. On Friday night, there's a collection of young people that's coming together at the New Community Baptist Church at 321 Birch Street for a youth praise service. These are young people from throughout Pine Bluff and different schools here in our city, and they will be coming together to do a lot of things. And so we'll ask you to come over there as well. On Saturday, there is Community Service Day. These people, young folk, will be out at the Martin Luther King Park performing some community service. We've asked them to lead an effort in collecting coats for kids and blankets for elderly. This is part of their community service, just like the Rotary Club, service above self. And so we try to encourage them to do that. On Sunday morning, there's a breakfast at the Barracue Street Baptist Church called Justice Sunday. It's a Justice Sunday breakfast where we recognize our Martin Luther King Jr. because he was not just a civil rights worker, but he was a pastor first. He's a minister as well. So we recognize him on Justice Sunday as being a pastor and a minister. And on Sunday night, we will be at the Greater Fellowship Baptist Church, Greater Fellowship Ministries at 2401 South Main Street. Idonia Trotter, who is the executive director for the Arkansas Minority Health Commission, will be our speaker for that night. Also on Monday, there's a parade downtown. We encourage all of you to join us for the parade downtown on Monday. It is a march for peace and against violence and crime. We will have the Arkansas State Police to join us. Pine Bluff Police Department will join us. This is a community-wide march. McGruff the Crime Dog will help us lead this parade. This is what we want to do in Pine Bluff, is to let the other part of this state know that we're not just sitting on our hands here. We're trying to get a handle on all of these bad seeds that's been planted out there. So we're going to march for peace. We're going to march against crime and violence on Monday. Starts at 11 a.m. Lineup time is at 10. So we want to encourage you to join us for this march. And we'll end up at the Civic Center steps on the north side, where our young people, the ICVR King team, will have a short educational program. So this is the things that we're trying to instill in our young people now, helping them to take the lead. And that's what we want them to do, to take the lead so that we can have them become the leaders that we need them to be. Again, we want to say on behalf of the ICVR Board of Directors and its members that we are pleased to be able to have you come together again for the 7th annual Joint Rotary Club to kick off our King Fest celebration. Thank you.
Thank you, Chancellor Davis. Reverend Turner, we appreciate you bringing such a wonderful program to our attentions. And again, I want to extend a welcome to our guests, our West Pine Bluff Rotarians, and everyone here. I think as Rotarians, we need to go out and remember that our motto this year for the 2011-12 Rotary is reach within to embrace humanity. And I think there's no more fitting time to remember this motto. Just an announcement, the February 28th meeting of the Pine Bluff Rotary Club will be at UAPB. Carla is working on that, and we will let you know more information as we approach that day. West Palm Bluff meeting this week is Ivan Whitfield, Assistant Police Chief. Next week, our meeting will be Trinity Village. Is there any other announcements that anyone would like to share with the group? If not, our meeting stands adjourned.
Thank you, Robert.